Guardians of the Galaxy 3 dropped a poster recently that showed the squad together, and Nebula is looking not quite like herself, honestly. She looks like a dude because her body actually is a dude in this poster. I don't know how they're trying to explain this away. I don't know what's going on. There's been an attack and a war on femininity for a long time, and there's also been one on masculinity, just in different ways, right? So think about, what makes masculinity, what makes men so strong? What is like some of their most defining characteristics that make them strong and honestly I guess a threat to other people? What makes them at their strongest is their masculinity. It is their testosterone, and that's why we've seen this toxic masculinity talk. They want to shame masculinity because they want men to be easier to manipulate. They want men to be these soy boys, and I've dove into this before, even in a recent video talking about how diet plays a role, and some people get defensive on that, but I'm telling you guys, diet absolutely does play a role. All this push for soy, and all this crap, it does play a huge role in testosterone in men. But today I'm talking about women, though. There's been an attack on women as well, on femininity, because what makes a woman so powerful, right? Think of like the most powerful woman you can imagine. I would imagine she would be exceptionally beautiful and exceptionally feminine, because part of being powerful as a woman is the power of beauty, right? And I think of a character like Lara Croft, of course, who I'm going to talk about because I love her so much. Classic Lara Croft especially was just this hyper beautiful, exaggerated beauty. And that's part of what made her so powerful. And we're just seeing this with characters all across the board, female characters, whether they are comic book, video game, even actresses, that they are making them look worse on screen. There is just, for some reason, an attack on femininity. Now let's look at this poster. Here's the full poster here, which, well, I have the picture here so I can like zoom in and stuff. But as you can see, Nebula, that's a dude's body, right? Here, which this is a joke Sierra Whiskey made, which is funny. But obviously we can all tell this isn't just a weight gain thing, because gaining weight as a woman, it's not going to make a woman look like a man, unless she already had a boyish figure to begin with. But in this case, is obviously not the case. As you can see here in the before, Nebula had a very curvy body, a slim but curvy body. She's got that hourglass shape. She's very womanly, which to me, especially with this kind of design and when you're dealing with a female character who is bald, it does help that she has this very curvy body and stuff, because it does further, as I mean, a bald head isn't exactly feminine on a woman. So I feel like it's almost absolutely necessary that her body be very feminine to kind of counterbalance that. I mean, obviously, depending on what you want the character to portrayal to be like, but in this case, Nebula is a woman. She's womanly. And this is not, oh, she let herself go, like her boobs disappeared, her entire body structure. This is a dude. This body is a man's body. And it's not even a good man's body. It's a man who has let himself go. This is like a skinny fat man body, right? So the skinny arms, the skinny legs, and the wide midsection. This is a beer body, a dude let himself go body. So it's bad enough that they gave Nebula a dude's body, but it's even worse that it's just not even a good one. But they're gonna find some way to try to explain this away, because obviously, I mean, look at this. If you actually look at what Karen looks like, the actress, she does not have that dude body at all. She's got a very feminine look. She's a very beautiful woman. And you see this in video games too, which I've talked about in videos here, where they will take a female actress and scan her face and body and all that and make her look worse deliberately. It's very odd And this push for androgyny, this push against masculinity, and this push against femininity, and to kind of make everybody this amorphous blob. It's odd. I think I think it's almost demonic in some kind of way, because if you look at like Baphomet, for example, who is androgynous, an androgynous spirit. And I think that absolutely plays a role in here. I'm a Christian. I think that we are always in a battle against spirits, the spiritual battle, principalities, all that, as the Bible says. So that's what I see this. I see this in Hollywood. I see this in all these big, I mean, a lot of us are seeing this, honestly. But another reason why I think that woke ideology has satanic roots too. Everything that is like biblical, everything that woke ideology pushes is anti-biblical, right? People call me crazy, or they're saying, oh, you're gonna lose this culture war if you start talking like this, because people are gonna think you're crazy. I don't freaking care. It's the truth. Like, it's what's going on. I feel like it's right in front of our faces, so I will talk about it. Now, I think that even for people who suffer with gender dysphoria, all this kind of stuff, and dude, I know I've already been called a homophobe, or not even a homophobe, I've been called a transphobe like crazy lately, especially with the Hogwarts videos, all this kind of stuff, the Sims stuff that dropped with the, a game that is heavily played by children, and the fact that they inserted binders, scars from females, women, girls getting their breast tissue removed and the scars underneath. And like, these are features that they put in the game for children, or for the teenage characters, right? And that children are going to play. I think that is very it seems like they're trying to indoctrinate children. They're trying to indoctrinate the future generation. I think there's so many conspiracies behind it, right, that we can really dive into. But the one thing that we can all recognize and we can all see right here, plain as day, right in front of our faces, is that there is a war on masculinity and femininity, and they're trying their best to do this amorphous blob thing, this in the middle thing. This is why gender dysphoria is being glorified, and I in no case think that it should ever be glorified. I think in perfect situations, people would be able to recover from that. But instead, it is being glorified. We're seeing it on the big screens now. We're seeing this push against femininity. And I think overall in this entire poster, you're seeing a lot of this in general. I mean, I don't know. I can't really tell. Like, I don't want to overread into too much of what this is, but I know with Nebula, it's definitely blatantly obvious. But even when you look at everybody else, look at Gamora here, look at look at Mantis. Even though it's not to this degree, obviously, they didn't give these women dude bodies, but it's like they want to cover up the curves as much as possible. And trust me, I don't think everybody needs to be half naked on there. I think they don't have to be, right? Like, I'm a Christian, so I have nothing against modesty, but this just doesn't seem like a push for modesty, in my opinion. It looks like a push for removing feminine traits from the female characters. They're dressing them very layered, very overdone, so that you can't define any curves there. And we're seeing that with all of 3 of the women on the poster here. Drax has a hoodie. That's cool. Again, I don't want to read too much into what's going on here. It looks like Star-Lord has lost some weight, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I'm just curious to see. I'm curious how this plays out in the show, and at the very least, I think they're going to try to explain things away with Nebula. And this is the thing, is whenever Marvel does crap like this, and they just come up, or even beyond just Marvel, right? And video game stuff that goes on, and all kinds of stuff that goes on, they try to explain away this kind of stuff. I've talked about, She-Hulk a lot with some videos. Look at how, like, in the comics, She-Hulk, she's got a very fitted suit. It accentuates her curves. Here's a character who's muscular and strong, but she's also very feminine and curvy and was gorgeous, and they definitely played on that with her design, with her outfits, all that. And then you look at the She-Hulk TV show, and she's wearing a huge, just dude-looking suit, that is not doing anything for her figure at all, and is just covering her up. And of course they had to have something in the story to kind of explain that. Oh, well, it's because she needed it custom tailored and she's waiting to get her suit back, so she has to wear this in the meantime. And people will defend it like crazy when you can't tell me that they couldn't have given her a flattering suit to wear from when she was doing her lawyer stuff. You know, they could have made her look good. The actress is pretty. There is no freaking reason why they made her look as plain as possible. And in this case, there's no real reason why you would make Nebula have a man's body. There's no actual legitimate reason. I don't see how they can explain this in a way that makes sense, or that's like, oh, okay, this is adding to the story. This is making her story better, blah, blah, blah. It's another way that they're trying to freaking insert this ideology. They're trying to remove femininity. They're trying to just blend femininity and masculinity. And they want us to be these amorphous blobs. Like, this is weird. It's odd, and I don't see them being able to explain this away. And I know that once Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 drops, this video is going to show in people's recommendations again, and I'm going to be getting comments from people that are like, oh, this didn't age well. As you can see in the story, they explained it. They gave her a man's body because of this, this, and this, or they're going to come up with some stupid reason. And people who will simp for anything that Marvel pushes out will justify it, will act like I'm being unreasonable, when I feel like clearly if you're denying the fact that there is an attack on femininity and masculinity as a whole in Hollywood, in society, in general, especially in the entertainment spaces that are heavily corrupt, yeah, it's right there in front of our faces. But anyway, I'm curious to know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'm excited to be back and to be focusing on the things I like to do, like talking about nerd culture stuff. And I'm feeling so much better today. I know my voice is still kind of weird because I've been battling a cold. I don't know how many of you saw my last video of all this stuff going on, which I am letting the pros handle this situation, and I am just going to focus on what makes me happy again. And that is continuing to make content on this channel, making videos, talking about what's going on in the world and in nerd culture, and playing some video games and streaming, all that stuff. Hey, I am not going to put my life on hold for anything that is trying to hold me back right now. So thank you all so much for all the love. Yesterday I was an emotional mess. But I feel a lot better today, and I think being able to receive the support and all that, I'm in a better headspace for that, because yesterday I was just like, I was thinking, I didn't earn this, I didn't do anything to deserve all this support and this help, and it was making me feel awful. But everyone in the comments was just so reassuring and was like, hey, that's people, people like to help other people. It's important that we all help each other, and don't feel bad about that. It made me feel so much better. You guys have no freaking idea how much I appreciate all of you. Like, goodness, I'm not gonna let myself get emotional again, because I already got a little embarrassed after that video. But I'm just so grateful. It just makes me realize that I have people in my corner. I'm not alone, and I just want to do everything I can to try to pay it forward however I can. So I'm very humbled by this whole experience, by how everybody has just turned up for me. I am very humbled and grateful. So thank you all. I freaking love you guys. Thank you so much. Again, let me know what you think in the comments below. I will catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.